Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with 16 concertos I couldn't live without for miscellaneous instruments. This is where you're going to find all the other instruments, clarinets, cellos, flutes, harps, all that stuff. Because, first of all, the title of this video, Oh, the Joy of Dangling Participles. What a nightmare they are. It was originally 16 concertos for miscellaneous instruments I couldn't live without. But the concertos themselves are not for miscellaneous instruments. They're for specific instruments. And so that technically was not correct. So it seems a little stilted the way I wrote it, but it happens to be grammatically correct. 16 concertos I couldn't live without for miscellaneous instruments. You get it? That's the joys of English grammar, with which I contend on a daily basis. I really do. Especially reading your comments. Not folks for whom English is a second language. You're doing fine. It's the people who are native English speakers who do the most awful things to the language. But that's me just fetching. Let's talk about 16 concertos for all kinds of different instruments. Now, we begin with, of course, Mozart's Clarinet Concerto, one of the all-time great concertos, the first really great concerto for the clarinet. I mean, it wasn't actually written for a clarinet. It was written for like a basset horn type thing. But however you do it, it's a masterpiece and absolutely glorious. Haydn's Trumpet Concerto. Now, there were plenty of lovely trumpet concertos in the Baroque period for high, screamy trumpets, but Haydn's is the first modern trumpet concerto because it was written for a prototypical, it was a keyed trumpet, but a valve trumpet, a trumpet that can play normal notes, regular chromatic notes in a normal register. And oh, what a great piece. And that last tune, the finale, the tune. Da 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 ya da 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 ba da 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 ya da 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 ba da ba 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 da 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 da. Oh, it's just amazing. It gets stuck under your skin. You can't get it out of your head. A work of genius. And Haydn's last orchestral work, purely orchestral work, after all the symphonies and all that work was done. And as a composer who didn't much care about concertos and spend much time with them, he wrote this masterpiece for trumpet. It's just gives you chills thinking about it. And then the Boieldieu Harp Concerto. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my God, the finale. It's in C minor, major sort of thing. It's just exquisite. It's like it came out of nowhere. It's haunting and timeless and unbelievably lovely. And if you don't know it, go listen to it. Oh, you're in for such a treat. I've told you before, I'm a sucker for harp concertos. And I mean, this one just slays me. It's incredible. Then we get the Dvořák Cello Concerto, the greatest cello concerto ever written in the history of humanity. And, a lot of you have asked me to do like 16 great cello concertos. Well, it's impossible. There aren't. And even if there were 16 great cello concertos, there aren't 16 great cello concertos that I can't live without. The whole point is to find the best of them, not to just make lists. We've done that, where we do lists. We do lists all the time. I think I did a list of cello concertos, but didn't I? I'm sure. A whole pile of them. And they're wonderful works. They're wonderful works. It's not about whether they're good or bad. It's about whether they belong on the list of works that you would take to your grave. So, yeah, I mean, I'm selective. And you have to be as well. Even if you're a cellist, you have to do better. Stand outside yourself. Look at it from the perspective of an outsider looking in and decide what the great concertos really are, the ones you really bank on. So there's Dvořák, of course. Then for flute, the Nielsen Flute Concerto. What a delicious, witty, charming, tuneful delight this piece is. And it doesn't get played that much, you would think. It's not like flutists have tons of stuff to do. Well, they do. They have Baroque stuff up the wazoo. But, really good, romantic and modern flute concerti? Not many. And this one is just sensationally fun, beautifully written for the instrument, and a joy, absolutely a joy from beginning to end. Then there's the Bloch Suite for Viola and Orchestra, which I've talked about numerous times. An absolutely fabulous four-movement symphonic piece with a Chinese finale. It's so wonderful. It fits the viola so well. Oh my God, it's wonderful. It's just one of the screaming masterpieces for the instrument, and nobody knows it. Nobody knows it. It's just called Suite for Viola and Orchestra. It's not even called a concerto. I mean, if it was called a concerto, more people would do it. It's concerto length. It's a big work. It's in cyclical form. It's got, everything going for it. It's a masterpiece, but nobody bothers with it, which is just appalling. Absolutely appalling. Tragedy in my view. Then, oh yes, William Mathias, his harp concerto, one of the great modern harp concertos. Most harp concertos, actually, the good ones, are modern. Life begins more or less with Handel's harp concerto, which was actually an organ concerto as well. Originally, it was a harp concerto. It was published with the organ concerti. That's a wonderful work too. But the Mathias harp concerto is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, with a wonderful finale that has, in spite of its modernity and chordal harmony and all that stuff, oh my goodness, it has some phenomenal tunes. It was written for Ozzy and Ellis, who recorded it for Lyra, and there have been a couple other recordings of it since. It deserves to be a repertory work. Once you hear the finale, I mean, how many people are going to run down the street whistling the Mathias harp concerto? You could be one of them. Excuse me. And you should be. Allergies are killing me today. My goodness, my voice is shot. Anyway, that's amazing. And then Frank Martin, he wrote a harpsichord concerto. There's some really cool harpsichord concertos out there, but the Frank Martin is really cool. It's very creepy sounding. And loads of fun. It's for harpsichord and small orchestra. The first time I ever heard it, oh, wow. It just blew my mind. There's only one recording of it. It was with Frank Martin, I think was conducting, or I don't know what, on some weird Swiss label. And I just can't even begin to explain how it just captivates you. There's this odd opening. I mean, that doesn't tell you anything, does it? I should stop singing these things, especially when I have allergies. Some of you have been complaining. But it's a great work and enormous fun, and it just wonderful contemporary work for harpsichord. Shostakovich Cello Concerto No. 1, of course. That has to be there. That is, but actually both of his cello concertos are marvelous, but the first is really special. It's the most neurotic piece of music ever. I mean, just about. The first movement particularly. Oh my God, is it twitchy and frenetic and it has such a high tension level. It's astounding, absolutely astounding. And the Hindemith cello concerto is also beautiful. A very beautiful work with a slow movement that contains the theme that Walton used for his variations on a theme of Hindemith. Janos Starker recorded it late in his career with Slatkin in St. Louis. Really, really a wonderful work that deserves vastly more play than it gets. I've never seen it live. I've never seen anyone even program it. I don't think cellists actually have that much interest in cello music, good cello music, contemporary cello music, or they can't get other people to play it. They all just do the same thing over and over. Dvořák, Elgar, Haydn, Saint-Saëns, Lalo. I mean, there's so much more and so much that's better. And I've talked about a lot of it before. I mean, like I said, there's another list out there somewhere you can go look at. But the Hindemith cello concerto is really a first-class piece of music. Then there's the Ginastera harp concerto, which I understand, excuse me, is virtually unplayable in spots. Well, that only makes it more fun, doesn't it? The harp is a very difficult instrument to write for because the modern double chromatic pedal harp is a very, very strange instrument. I don't know if you've noticed it, but if you ever look at a modern harp, and I have, because I talked about them, old harps had vibrato pedals, believe it or not. They did. They had shutters that you could wiggle open and closed to create a oscillation in the tone. But most modern harps don't have device anymore. The Comtesse de Genlis, in her textbook on harp technique, wrote that lady harpists really shouldn't use that pedal because their dresses get in the way, which I thought was just marvelous. Anyway, but harps have pedals, and each pedal has 3 positions. And for each kind of note, you have C notes, D notes, and whatever. And the pedals raise or lower those notes a half a step. So the D pedal, you can either have a D natural, a D sharp, or a D flat. And that's how you have to write for the harp. It's all what they call enharmonic. You have to spell the chords out according to how you can arrange the pedals. And it's a lot of composers don't bother to really pay much attention to what harps can and cannot do. Or can and cannot do easily because you're moving around pedals all the time. And they have thousands of moving parts. They're enormously complex instruments. And, they're very, very delicate. I mean, they make quite an alarming sound when you drop one, which has happened in my presence on occasion. Nothing compared to the sound that the harpist made when she saw the harp getting dropped. That was another issue. But they are fascinating instruments. And so, modern harp concertos are tricky, especially if they're harmonically extremely advanced. It's one thing if you're never changing key, but if you do, woo, it's a problem. So harp concertos, yes, nifty. Walton's Viola Concerto, obviously one of the great works for the instrument. It made Walton's career as a master composer and not a mere naughty boy who did things like Facade and Belshazzar's Feast and whatnot. It's a very serious, melancholic, haunting piece of music. Beautiful, beautiful work. Poulenc, the Concert champêtre. Oh, I love this sucker. For harpsichord and orchestra. I'm only doing 1 work per composer. Otherwise, I would have stuck in Poulenc's organ concerto too, which I adore. The concerto for organ, strings, and timpani. But the Concert champêtre is just so much fun. It's so full of great tunes and wonderful pastoral imagery and classical fake things in it. Gosh, it's wonderful. It's also almost impossible to record. There have been very few successful recordings of it because you have to use a big modern harpsichord that can balance the orchestra. And most people use teeny tiny period instrument harpsichords that sound like nothing at all. And you can't do that. It doesn't work. You're better off just using the piano concerto version of the same work and playing it with a piano, which actually is marvelous too. So there's that. Then we've got, oh yes, the Gliére Concerto for Coloratura Soprano. Oh God, is that fun. I mean, the soprano just vocalizes. She's not saying anything. She's just going, ooh, and it's like a warm bath. It has this luscious, wonderful surround the voice cushion of beautiful orchestration, and then the soprano just warbles away on top of it for 15 minutes or so. There is nothing else like it in the repertoire, and you owe it to yourself to hear it. Joan Sutherland recorded it, and a couple other coloratura sopranos as well. And gosh, it's fun. Sutherland was particularly successful because, of course, the fact that it has no words means she didn't have to worry about pronunciation, no consonants. And so you're in business. And gosh, is that a lovely performance. William Alwyn, Lyra Angelica, for his harp concerto. It's a concerto for harp and strings. It's another Ozzy and Ellis thing, a vehicle. It's a big work. It's got a half hour long and 4 big movements or so. And it's incredibly lovely and modern at the same time. It really is. I mean, Alwyn was a very intellectual, accomplished composer with an elevated taste. I mean, you don't usually say that about these people, but he really did. I mean, he had a real aesthetic point of view. He was an aesthete. And Lyra Angelica has that. It's incredibly lovely, but it never sounds tacky. And it's written with extraordinary finesse for the strings of the harp. And oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And last but not least, I know Tamberg. This is a concerto for miscellaneous instruments. It's his Concerto Grosso for flute, clarinet, trumpet, alto saxophone, bassoon, piano, percussion, and string orchestra. Tamberg was a wonderful composer. His opera Cyrano de Bergerac is magical. He wrote a bunch of ballets and operas and theater pieces that need to be recorded. He was Estonian, and he died a few years ago. I actually persuaded a conductor friend of mine with his orchestra to do the Concerto Grosso, and apparently it went over really, really well. It is so much fun to listen to. It's such a quirky bunch of instruments, and they're deployed with absolutely infallible clarity and mastery and wit, and nobody knows it. It's been recorded twice, as far as I know. There's a recording on that what's that German label? I can't remember the name of it, and with Estonian forces. And there's also Nimi Järvi, thank God, did a recording on Bis, so you have a chance to hear it. And wow, baby, is it a masterpiece. You owe it to yourself to give it a shot and you see what you think. You'll have so much fun. The finale is so catchy. Oh my God, it's fun. Anyway, there you have it. 16 concertos for miscellaneous instruments. No, concertos that I couldn't live without for miscellaneous instruments. And I really am looking forward to your list. I think mixing these things up was a good idea because it gives us a wide range of repertoire to choose from, and you can really pick the ones that you love best. And that's been the point of this entire series. You're not out to rewrite history or tell the rest of the world how smart you are. Just pick the ones that you really love, and we'll take it from there. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.